It's Kyron by the Escape Massage Center. Today we're going to be stretching the abdominal muscles. There are 4 different abdominal muscle groups that form your core. When people talk about core training, they're usually talking about one or the combination of all 4 of these muscles. The first and the most common is what people would refer to as a six-pack or a keg, depending on who you're talking to or about. They're the rectus abdominis muscles, and they run from the lower part of your rib cage and sternum down and attach to the pubis bone down in your pelvic area. And they are usually what people like to see aesthetically. They like to train it a lot. Those are your rectus abdominis muscles. The second set is called the transverse abdominis, and if you could imagine like hands, or the way I think about it is if you took like an onion ring or a funyun and put it like that, those muscles go from your pelvis in the back around to just the outside of your rectus abdominis. Your rectus abdominis goes up and down, and your transverse abdominis goes like that. And what that does is just how it looks, like crab hands, or it squeezes and flattens your abdomen. It helps you expel whatever you're expelling from your peritoneal cavity. It resists tension. You use it when you're laughing, twisting, and that type of thing. But flattening that out, that's usually what people try to work when they're working their obliques because they want a flatter stomach. But those muscles being strong is essential for good posture. The other groups are kind of brother and sister, or they're twins. The internal and external obliques. Now, the external obliques are visible on the surface of the body, as are the rectus abdominis. The external obliques are going to run from the sides of your ribs, kind of back by where your armpits would be, down to the front of the rectus sheath. So they would be involved in pulling the same side towards your pelvis. The brother or sister of this one, the external obliques, are going to run in the opposite direction like that. And so they would be pulling you backwards. So one does this, one does that. And they support your ribs, they support your posture, and all of them work together to really keep your core tight and stabilized, because your body, if you could imagine a lampshade, the lampshade usually sits in the center of the lamp, and the support is centered, so it's balanced. But that's not how the body is structured. The lampshade will be pushed way more towards the front of one side, and so it would tip over. But in a human, the abs are what keep you from tipping over, plus the cavity of the organs inside the peritoneal cavity and thoracic cavity help stabilize that. So the stretches, if anyone's ever done an abdominal exercise, they know about sit-ups and crunches. To stretch the abdominal muscles, the only thing that's required is you move the opposite direction of what action they give you. So the first one we're going to do is a rectus abdominis. And there are stretches that you can do standing. I would recommend against it, because if you don't know what the condition of your back is, if you have problems with balance, you could cause yourself some problems in your lower back. So we're going to try to take the load off of your spine so that you can move freely without risk of injury or anything. So the first one, rectus abdominis. And rectus abdominis would be the muscle involved doing this or doing that. So we're going to want to go the opposite direction. You go from a plank position and drop your hips down. Start at a plank and drop your hips down. Now, I'm pushing back. I'm not going to stay forward like this. I'm pushing back, and what I want to do is have the front of my hip bones touch the ground. Now, once you get there, the key is take a deep breath in, and you'll feel your abs stretching. The more you relax your stomach, the more it'll stretch out. If you keep the tension in your abs, they're going to stay shortened. So you're going to have to stay here and take deep breaths in. And as your hips start to relax and sink onto the floor, you can flatten your feet out. And that, just to add a little bit of stretch in there, I can straighten my elbows out. Depending on how flexible your back is, that may be a very good stretch for you, or it may not. But it's still worth doing. Second one, for your external obliques, I'm going to turn the opposite direction. Your external obliques would be if you're doing side crunches. I'm twisting towards the front of my body and lifting towards the side. Those are the muscles that run down like this. So the way I would stretch it is, you sit like you're chilling, and I'm turning the opposite direction and stretching my external obliques. You can do these with the legs straight. I prefer my legs bent because I don't want to twist my back out of alignment. And I feel that right along my ribs. And again, breathing is very important for stretching, but especially the abdominal muscles. The internal obliques, those are the ones that are going to pull you this way. So if you could imagine I'm sitting in a kayak, or however, when I'm twisting back this way, those are the internal obliques, the ones that are under your external obliques. You can't see them on the surface of the body. So what I'm going to do is twist that way. And there's different variations of this stretch. Look at my blue socks. Different variations just depending on your flexibility. This one's common. Depending on how flexible you are, that adds a stretch on your piriformis. But for this one, I like to keep it simple because the breathing's important. If you bring that leg up and do the other stuff, it's hard for you to work them. Now, the side that's being stretched is not this side because that's the side I'm rowing to. So it would be that side. So I want to be as upright as possible and have a little bit of a twist. You can also do it with your legs folded. Somebody can. I don't know if I can. Doing it that way. That one doesn't work for me. Transverse abdominis. Transverse abdominis, if you've ever seen someone holding dumbbells or plates and doing this, that does nothing for your transverse abdominis. It doesn't do much for your abs except stretch them by leaning to one side or the other. I don't recommend it because it's going to compress your spine and you're working muscles that you're not targeting. Usually people aren't targeting the quadratus lumborum muscles or their lats, but that's what they're working. I digress. The muscles that flatten your core, the transverse abdominis, to stretch them, fill your stomach up. Take a deep breath in, hold your stomach out, and push. If anyone's ever done yoga class and they've learned cat and cow, this is a good one to stretch your transverse abdominis, the onion ring muscle. So I'm going to let my hips go back and I'm going to let my back sag. When I do that, I let my stomach hang down towards the floor. That's the cow, and then like the Disney cow with the sway back. That's what this reminds me of. And then that's the cat. The spinal movements make this a more complete stretch, but if you're just focusing on the abs, you can just stay in this position and go back to neutral. But each time you put that arch in your back, fill your stomach up. And you'll just feel that stretch right along your pelvic bones and in the low back. So those are some certainly not the limit of abdominal stretches, but some safe ways to stretch those four muscles. Trigger points in those muscles can give you all kinds of problems, sometimes referred back pain, problems with breathing, and difficulty adjusting posture quickly. We'd be more than happy to work on those for you. Come in and get a massage, and we'll get your abs together.